Hi everyone.
Hello,
Happy
hi.
Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Hope you are all doing well and staying healthy. Hi to all of our families, friends, our community. We really miss you. We're doing pretty well this week. We've been working on the things that we can work on. Mike has been working on the house, and I've been working on expanding a garden in the courtyard and working with my bees. And the bees are doing really great this year. I'm sure a lot of you guys are excited to hear that. There'll be a lot of honey, so that's exciting. Getting excited about the little things. So today we're going to share some updates and announcements, and Pastor Mike has also prepared some message for us. So we'll go into our announcements.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say a big thank you to, we've gotten some very generous donations to support the Lifeboat Fund. And just want to say a big thank you to those of you who've given to that and supported it. I know that in the past it's made a big difference for people, and I think that going forward it will continue to do so. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. That's awesome. Also, we have a few recipes coming in for our community cookbook. It's an idea that came out of our community chat on Saturday. And this Saturday, we spent most of our community chat talking about which recipes we were going to share and how delicious they were. So we're getting really excited about it. Pastor Mike sent out a link in an email last week, so please check that. And it's pretty simple to put in a photo and some history, family history for your recipe and the instructions. So keep them coming in, and we'll make a great recipe book out of that.
Yeah. Also, want to say a big thank you to Dave Mahardy. He's been working so hard at the church, still almost every day coming in, cleaning, lots of like kind of deep cleaning, like the kind of thing that you wouldn't normally have the time to do if we were having regular gatherings and get togethers throughout the week and every week here. But because things have been relatively quiet, he's been able to go in, like take all the what do you call them, panes out, not panes,
Screens.
but the pieces of window out and cleaning them very thoroughly, and he's doing a really great job with that last week. And then yeah, this week we put in a new floor in the playroom right next to the dining room. You know, that carpet there that was really quite dirty and needed a replacement. So we put a nice foam floor pattern floor in there, and we're hopeful that it works well. I mean, it's designed for trade shows and for long time use. So we'll see. We're optimistic about it, but it looks really nice.
Yeah, we'll have a
Yeah.
nice space for the kids when they come back to church.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of sad news. We learned that Justine's mother passed away in Togo this week. So if you could keep Justine and her family in your prayers, I'm sure she wouldn't mind if you left her a text message or a voicemail, or maybe brought by some food or something like that. But let's give our love to people who are having a difficult time as well, and give our prayers for her ascension. Also, this Sunday, this weekend would have been our spring refresh, and we know that that is one of the most wonderful and fun and productive and exciting events that we do every year with the Colorado Family Church. So it's not happening this weekend, but we do hope to.
It would have been a perfect weekend for it.
Oh, it's been a glorious
So
weekend to do
nice.
this spring refresh, and we had Korean tacos last year, thanks to Ben and Hwajung. But hopefully we can do something later. Maybe it'll be a fall reset or something like that. So we're going to keep our hopes high that we can do something similar to get everybody together, refresh our church, and have a good time. So we'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we've been doing it every year, so something I personally look forward to a lot. And so yeah, definitely gonna still make it happen somehow.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for almost a year. We make a list of, we get inspired about the different projects we want to do and everything, and what kind of bouncy houses we'll get for the kids. So we will make it happen.
Hmm. I want to also just let you know that we have a new blog post out. It's called "How Do We Care for, Educate New Members?" And big thanks to Gary Fleischer for putting that together and making it happen. We just put it out on our Facebook page and our blog on our website. So, please take a look at that. It's got some great testimonies, some great sharing. You can just kind of get a sense of kind of where we're at with that aspect of our church ministry work. And it's really awesome to be able to share these kind of like great stories.
Yeah, and along with that, I just like to give a shout out to the people who are organizing our spiritual growth group. This is still happening, even though we can't gather at the church every other week. Everybody still gets on. All of our new members and the spiritual parents get on, and we have a spiritual growth group every other week for them. So that's something that's still going strong, and people are getting a lot out of. So I think that's really awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of new members too, also William Ortman, he moved to Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was sad. He was laid off from the Gaylord. I don't know how much he wants us to say. Anyway, he was laid off, and a friend of his offered him a job managing properties in Las Vegas, where he's from anyway, and where his dad lives. So he's back there for now, but he's still hopeful that when the Gaylord's back up and running again, that he'll be able to come back here and continue working, because he does enjoy that very much, and there's a kind of a lot of upward potential there, so to speak. So yeah.
And he'll still join us virtually, but we miss you, William. We hope you're watching this.
Yeah, right. We also just want to give a little bit of an update on things with headquarters. I don't know how many of you are interested in this kind of thing, but I think it's important to kind of let you know that there's been a lot of changes with headquarters. Most of headquarters funding comes from businesses like the New Yorker, the Manhattan Center, and the fishing business. And because of the impact on restaurants and the impact on tourism and traveling, those businesses have basically dried up. And so they've had to make lots of cuts in personnel and budgets and laying off people, which is, kind of unfortunate and not, probably what anyone wishes to see happen. But at the same time, it's an opportunity for also local communities to be able to shine more, at times like this. And also, we're very grateful that, that locally we've been able to create a strong foundation financially where we're not dependent on headquarters for anything. And also we're able to have our own, savings and and having lowered our expenses so that we're not terribly affected by this situation. Although, with loss of jobs, loss of hours has affected our renters at our properties, income there, and then as well as tithing. So, we are affected, but we're also grateful for what we have.
We'll definitely make it through this, and we want to continue to support you through it.
Yeah, and we're also actively searching out alternative ways that we can support our church financially as well. So doing that. And then on that note, it is a new month. So if you haven't sent your tithing in yet, for this month, this is a good opportunity for you to do that. And we've got lots of options set up now, maybe too many. But PayPal and text giving and Zelle and
sending a check
in the mail. So on and so forth. So just a reminder about that. So that's about it for the announcements. So I want to share a message today, and the message is about perseverance. And a few months ago, I went to a program that was sponsored by some of our young unificationists called Cranes Club Conference in Las Vegas. And a lot of people go to Cranes Club because they want to learn about business and how to be financially successful. Of course, the concept is being successful in all areas of your life. But, realistically, it's about money, how to make money. Because that's an area where a lot of times we as faith-focused people or spiritually focused people kind of have a hard time figuring out, and myself included. And I was kind of going with trying to have an open mind. What am I going to get out of this? I'm not really going to develop a business or to make money. I wanted to network with people and see what there is to learn. And I ended up in a session on coaching there was a coaching business that someone was developing, and I thought, well, why not? I'll go and just see what that's all about. And so in the coaching session, they're asking us, what's some area of your life where you feel needs some work or you feel kind of stuck in. And so a couple areas of my life came up, but the main one was health. So a couple months before that, I kind of got to a point where I felt really discouraged about my health and my weight. And I know some of you are thinking, oh, that's ridiculous. But if you look at pictures of me when we first moved to Colorado, it's discouraging. And it's been challenging for me. It's discouraging for me anyway. Maybe not for you or whatever, but maybe some of you can relate with this feeling that, oh, you tried so many different things. Maybe that's just your destiny to, not be where you want to be, in terms of your health or your weight or your looks or something like that. And this can apply to many areas of your life, whether it's your faith, your family, your relationships, your job, finances. We can find ourselves sometimes just resigned, like, you know what, maybe it's just not meant to be. So this is kind of where I was at in terms of my health. And then I went to this coaching session, and then I thought to myself, you know what, I already gave up on this. Why are they bringing it up within me? Like, can't I just be resigned about it and just let it be? Even though, of course, my wife is reminding me, you have to be healthy for us, for the family, for the future. And, sometimes it just doesn't really sink in. I didn't ask for coaching at that time, but somehow I guess the message came across that I was looking for it or I needed it or something like that. So a coach reached out to me, and I was like, I didn't really want coaching. I just went to the session just for information, but I'm willing to give it a shot. But that person didn't have any time slots available that would work for me. So ironically, I ended up working with a guy in France who could better accommodate my schedule. And so we ended up doing like a 10-week coaching session. And it turns out that this guy is a pastor as well, and just became a pastor of the largest unificationist community in France, and since in September. And it turned out to be such a blessing because I could share with him kind of the fruits of the last 5 years of effort here in Colorado. And, I could kind of share with him what we've done and what has worked and what hasn't worked, and, what we feel is really important in terms of where we are at as unificationists in our communities today. And it was really valuable for him. At the same time, his coaching experience was really valuable for me because we started off by mostly focusing on the health, because that's what I originally talked about. But then we eventually moved into, what does what brings me passion? Like, what makes me feel passionate about things in my life? What's really important to me, and that took us to some fairly deep conversations, because naturally, as you can imagine, we don't always talk about that kind of thing, even in our within our families. And so that was very refreshing in a way to have those conversations. And it was really good. Actually, out of that has come a lot of conversations between me and Adonia about what was most important to us in our communities, because one of the things that we recognized, not that we didn't know it before, but that we recognized it more deeply in these sessions, is that yes, we have dreams, we have plans for the future. We want to create, an apartment building for unificationists to live together. We want to grow the church. We want to build a museum. We want to build a family center, like a family fun center. We want to do many, many different things. But at the end of the day, what is going to make those things meaningful? And what is going to make those things valuable and attractive to people? It's not going to be just the buildings. I mean, if you want to go to a family fun center, you can go to Chuck E. Cheese, right now. That may not be the best example, but, whatever. But what's going to be really meaningful, I think, to God and to ourselves and to the people that, be attracted to what we're doing in the future, is the quality of our families, the quality of our relationships, and the quality of our faith, and the quality of our character. And these are things that you can't necessarily throw a bunch of money at throw a bunch of programs at or just make a goal and kind of expect it to happen. But through a lot of heart and investment and effort and care, you can make a difference in in people's lives in these areas. And it kind of reminded us of when we were, when we first had moved here, we had started doing some couples programs. And those were actually really wonderful. But then, Annalise came along and some different challenges came along, and we kind of pulled back because we just felt a little overwhelmed and it was just too much on top of everything else we were already dealing with. But, we were kind of realizing that, wow, to kind of pull back from doing those things and prioritize doing things like Sunday service is, it's not bad per se, but, these are kind of like the core things that our families and our marriages and our relationships and our character that are going to be the things that carry forward, that are going to shine far beyond just programs and buildings and things like that. So we've kind of rededicated ourselves to making that a priority in our ministry. And so you're going to see that reflected a lot once we're able to even start doing things again.
Yeah, with parenting groups, couples groups, things like that.
Yeah. But getting back to my point about my health, one of the things I realized through the coaching sessions was that my attitude towards health was very fear-based. It was very much like, well, if I gain a bunch of weight and I don't look very good, it's going to have a big effect on me in terms of losing respect, losing credibility, losing presentability. And that was kind of what was motivating me to try to be healthy instead of being motivated out of a care or love of my body and wanting it to be in the best condition it could be, or a love for the people in my life who depend on me to be around for a long time and to be healthy in mind and body, right? So I realized that this is kind of the dichotomy that we face in a lot of times in the decisions, meaningful decisions that we make in our life, oftentimes have this dynamic where there's a possibility for pain or suffering or loss in some way. But there's also the possibility for joy and benefit and love in many different areas of our life, whether we're talking about, maybe you're talking about changing a job. Maybe you're talking about healing a friendship or a relationship that's very important to you. Starting a business, getting married, having kids, When you start thinking about many of these different things, you think, well, what are the things that could happen that would be really painful? Like my kids don't turn out the way I want them to turn out, or I turn out to be not a good parent, turn out to be not a good husband, or, to end up in a financial situation worse than I'm already in now. There's many different fears that come up in our lives, especially if we've had experiences that have been painful or disappointing in our life. I think a lot of those emotions and memories resurface themselves. But then there's also the potential, when we have kids, that our kids will turn out to be great kids. They'll go on and do great things in our life, and they'll make us proud as parents. Maybe the business that we start will actually turn out to be a way of freedom, finding freedom in our life, or that job will be more fulfilling than the one I'm in now, or healing that relationship will maybe lift a burden that's been on my heart or on my soul for many years. These kind of things, we see them as the benefits, but sometimes it's really hard to get past that fear that's motivating us to not do those things. Or maybe the things or the efforts that we are making are based off of fear, and they're not really getting us the results that we're hoping for in our lives. And we can't get caught up in living our lives and making important decisions based off of these fears, or simply trying to avoid the pain that might come if things don't work out. So I want to share a couple quotes and verses to emphasize the point. First few quotes are from our founder, Reverend Moon. He says, "When you like something and it is worth liking, and if God likes it too, He gives you every kind of support. That's another reason why you can achieve that so easily and so much better. It's the very principle of man's being that man wants to be intoxicated, crazy about something. Don't you feel that? If you are overjoyed until you become insane, would you be a happy man or an unhappy man? And I think, I really resonate with that because I really believe that, a lot of our efforts in our ministry has been encouraging people to do what you feel passionate about. Like what we're doing. We do what we do because we're passionate about it, because we love it. And, there is merit in doing things that you don't like, but to always try to have the goal to try to find joy in doing that thing, whatever it is. Otherwise, it could easily become a burden, and it can easily produce resentment. But I like this because it says that if you like something and God likes it too, then you can achieve a lot easily. I like that. Another excerpt is that if you want to succeed in something in the very shortest period of time, what can we do about it? It is a very rational and reasonable conclusion that in attempting something, when you like it, you can always succeed. And then lastly, perseverance can be the secret way to repel or even to prevent hardship from coming. When it becomes apparent that you're going to fail, but you persevere, then there is a way for you to win. God has been using this tactic, and we ought to adopt it and make it part of ourselves. And then lastly, I want to share a couple of verses from the Bible. James 1, verse 12 says, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him." 2 Thessalonians 3:13 says, "And as for you, brothers and sisters, never get tired of doing what is good." So, I do believe that if there is something that is important to you in your life, and is important to God as well, he will support your efforts. And if you can persevere in love, you can find some way to accomplish it as well. And so it's been interesting to have this experience these last few months because, originally started off with resignation, and then through a series of events that I find to be very interesting and questionable, we've ended up where we're at. And if despite all the things that are going on around us and the craziness that's happening in the world, we're still discovering new ways forward and new insights into what is we're already working on and what is already important to us. And I really feel that God has a hand in these kind of things. And that if we just don't give up, if we just keep looking for another possibility, or at least even if we're resigned about something, to be open to the possibility, God can reach us in maybe a way that we weren't expecting, and can help guide us to what it is that we and God both want for our lives. So that's basically the message that I wanted to share. And to finish our video, I'd like to maybe do something a little different, not too different, but offer a prayer and then finish up. So please join me in prayer. Dearest Heavenly Parent, we thank you so much for our lives, for our health, for so many things that you have given to us that yet we have yet to have expressed our gratitude to you for. We know that each and every one of us, we stand on a foundation of our ancestors and many wonderful saints and sages that have come before us, who have, in many cases, sacrificed and given in their lives without seeing a lot of personal benefit, Heavenly Parent. And we are so blessed to live at a time where we can see so much benefit in our lives, even though we still have challenges, Heavenly Parent. We ask for your guidance on our community. We ask for your guidance in our lives, that we can find a way forward, even if we want to give up sometimes, Heavenly Parent. In whatever area of our life that we are thinking about, please help us to crack our hearts open a little bit and be open to what it is that you may want for our lives, that maybe we ourselves have given up on or are discouraged about, Heavenly Parent. And I pray that going forward as a community, that you can guide us, that you can lead us, and that even despite the temporary challenges that we experience, like with the coronavirus or work or family or relationships, Heavenly Parent, that we cannot give up, and that we can find the way forward no matter what it is, Heavenly Parent, that we can really build a community and a church and a foundation that you can be proud of, that you can smile about, and that you can be inspired by. We thank you so much, and we offer this prayer in our names, Michael and Adonia Hendrick, a blessed central family. Amen and Aju. All right.
Thank you, everybody,
Thank you.
for watching. We'll talk at you. My dad always says, talk at you later. So we'll talk at you later next week. But feel free to call us anytime. And it's been really nice, actually, the few times when we've been able to run into somebody at the parking lot here at the church. You know, somebody's picking something up or doing a little project. It's been really nice to see you. So we look forward to more of those as the days go by. All right.
God bless.
Bye.
Bye.